I recently finished my first ever playthrough of Hollow Knight, and I think we can all agree that one of the things that makes this game so amazing is its bosses. So, let's rank them. Before we start, let me get some ground rules out of the way. This is my first ever playthrough of the game, so there might be upgrades or other things that I get that you didn't. Of course, no glitches or exploits to get things before you're supposed to. I will also not be ranking any of the powered up or enraged versions of any of the other bosses, as they're pretty much just the same as the original, besides the second Hornet fight. And again, this is all my opinion, so feel free to disagree, and without further ado, let's get into it. Number 39, Zote the Mighty. Man, if you have to go on the Hollow Knight wiki to even check if this guy is considered a boss, you know this guy is easy as shit. Zote is fought at the end of the first Colosseum battle, and I mean, he really just doesn't do anything. There's nothing more that needs to be said. Number 38, Massive Moss Charger, which I'm just gonna call MMC for short because I mean, what kind of fucking name is that? MMC is 2 attacks, one where he charges at you on the ground, and another where he charges at you in the air. I mean, my man is literally as simple as saying pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. Cause it fucking doesn't. Number 37, Gruz Mother. A mother that must just literally want to kill every single one of her children by just hitting the wall over and over and over again. This fight can be a little tough because you don't have dash or any abilities to get around her charges, but overall, honestly, as long as you just keep her distance and walk away, she's still really easy. Number 36, Vengefly King. I think this guy is a bad case of forgetting what the fuck he is actually doing. I actually didn't even have this guy ranked, but apparently he counts, so here he is, and that's all I'm gonna say. Number 35, No Eyes. The easiest of the dream bosses, and frankly one of the more creepier and eerie fights in the game. She teleports around the screen while these little white spirit things come from across the screen. Honestly, the biggest thing with this fight is to not get impatient. Just take your time, getting 1 or 2 hits each time she teleports, and don't be too greedy, cause no one wants to have to see this bitch any longer than is needed. Number 34, Elder Hu. Honestly, probably my favorite of the dream bosses, which sucks for me to put him down this low. However, Elder Hu is pretty much just a joke if you have the Shade Cloak, cause you can literally just dash through all the little ring things straight out of Shang-Chi. But even without that, you pretty much just dash, attack, dash, attack. Number 33, Gorb. Man, we're just knocking out all the dream bosses first. If you can't tell already, a lot of these lower bosses pretty much just have 1 or 2 attacks that they spam over and over and over again, which is especially true for the dream bosses, and Gorb specifically, who just shoots out little white projectiles which pretty much just ramp up in speed as the fight goes on. But overall, they're really easy to dodge. Number 32, Uumuu. Man, fuck this jellyfish. I swear, somehow I always manage to get hit by one of the fucking bullshit electric attacks. However, this boss pretty much just comes down to dodging until this little guy named Squirrel? Which is actually a pretty cool dude, who slices Uumuu, leaving him vulnerable to attacks. 2 or 3 of these are enough to end his whole career. Number 31, False Knight. Man, the first boss in the whole game, and officially setting a record on this channel for being the highest first ranked boss. That being said, False Knight pretty much just relies on you not being fully comfortable with the controls of the game. However, after 1 or 2, or in my case 5 deaths, you'll be able to adapt and able to slash him down, open up his little Ghostbuster thing, and end the fight pretty quickly. Number 30, Soul Warrior. This is another dude I didn't even know would count, but whatever. Soul Warrior can be a bit challenging. He's one of the first bosses you fight in the game, and especially at the time can feel really fast compared to the rest of the ones you've faced before. With his little fireball attacks, dashes, and his teleport attacks, it's pretty easy to get overwhelmed as a new player especially. But honestly, it's all about just taking it slow, getting those little chip hits, and taking them out. Number 29, Hollow Knight. Just like the False Knight, Hollow Knight officially sets the record for being the lowest ranked final boss in this channel. The Hollow Knight is an interesting boss. At first, you're terrified by the sight of a knight just swinging his giant sword all around and jumping down with these weird pillar things. However, he pretty much just spends most of the fight not trying to die a warrior's death by game ending himself over and over and over again. It's very off-putting as the fight feels like it's not truly you besting him, but the Hollow Knight himself. And once the #1 waifu bug comes in and you dream nail that bitch, you can kiss this fight goodbye. Number 28. The Collector. The Collector is a very off-putting fight. It feels like you're fighting in this weird twisted place, and it doesn't help that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 recently came out, and I think we can all, find some similarities. That being said, the difficulty of this fight is somewhat linked to the strength of your nail. However, by the time you're here, your nail will be strong enough to just one-shot all his prisoners, and it will be smooth sailing from there. Number 27. Oblobbles. Fought at the end of the second Colosseum of Fool's Trial, these spawns of hell are responsible for multiple failed trials and multiple controller throws. What's tough about these guys is that once you kill one of them, the other one just goes Super Saiyan and just starts praying and praying, giving you very few chances to kill him as he's just draining your health bit by bit. Number 26. Brooding Mawlek. I'm just gonna be honest, I don't know how you're supposed to find this guy on your own. He's like the quiet kid of Hollow Knight bosses, not wanting you to notice him, but when you do, he will try his best to fuck you up. Dash is a must for this fight, as getting around his vomit without it is pretty much impossible. Otherwise, just keep your distance and stay away from his close range nails, and you'll be good. Number 25. Flukemarm. This thing is fucking gross. It's literally a giant fucking pussy that shoots out these stupid babies that fly at you faster than Kngiht 30 telling a kid he's getting banned. The difficulty of this fight again comes down to the strength of your nail to one-shot the babies. But even without it, it's still really easy. Just don't go for a random heal if you get hit just once. Number 24. Hornet. Probably in my top 10 for best fights in the game. I think the first Hornet fight is a really good basis for what game designers should be doing when it comes to designing a boss. Hornet is a perfect balance between somewhat challenging and also easy enough to understand and fun to conquer. She has attacks that, yeah, first time round can be challenging, but you can also look at them and be like, yeah, I can dodge this. Besides her spaghetti attack, that attack is a little bullshit, but this fight is just amazing, and I can't sing its praises enough. Number 23. Hive Knight. Honestly, I have one piece of advice for you with this boss. Slow the fuck down. Hive Knight does about as good as a job of pretending he's a fast boss as someone calling supports healers in Overwatch on TikTok and not thinking they're gonna receive death threats from random Kiriko mains. Hive Knight is one of those bosses that you can pretty much just face tank, and every once in a while dash through one of his attacks. It's really that simple. Just watch out for that Singer attack, which, by the way, he totally stole from Gorb. Number 22. Markoth. Probably the Marth the devil himself was so pissed off by, he made it a dream for players to have so much fun fighting. Let me get this out of the way. Markoth is bullshit. We all know this. He shoots spears giving you zero chance to heal. However, when he starts doing his little spinning shield attack, just go to the corner. It's free healing. See, I think people get too impatient with these dream bosses, which is fair, but honestly, if you take it slow, you'll realize Markoth isn't even that bad. Number 21. Marmu. Okay, so remember how I said Hornet was an amazing example of what game designers should strive for in a boss? Well, Marmu is the complete opposite. He's exactly what you shouldn't do with a boss. Marmu is lazy, bullshit, and overall just a pain in the ass. He's like a cousin or younger sibling that just will not leave you alone. It really sucks, and I just hate this dog, bat, abomination thing. Fuck Marmu. Number 20. Traitor Lord. So this boss is very weird. I think I fought this boss at a weird time or I did something wrong, because whenever I see this boss fought online by other people, there's always this little NPC guy that comes out and deals the finishing blow. However, for me, I don't know if I did something wrong, but this guy just wasn't in the fight for me. Anyways, this boss is the first boss on this list that does double damage to you, which can feel pretty rough. However, never fear. I have a product you cannot refuse. Hear me out. Shade Cloak. Feel free to thank me later. Number 19. Broken Vessel. Broken Vessel is probably one of the first bosses in the game that really gave me a bit of a challenge. He will dash at you with a variety of attacks, all with this weird orange jello shit that apparently caused some virus that like destroyed Hollow Nest. But what do I know? It's not like I've been constantly binging Hollow Knight lore videos after beating this game. Anyways, Broken Vessel can be pretty tough, but just focus on dodging, especially with his bullet hell attack. But overall, it isn't too bad. Number 18. Crystal Guardian. So Team Cherry really decided to make that one yodeling kid from 2016 into a boss. Well, let's just say he lives about as long as that meme did. Anyways, Crystal Guardian will shoot one beam out of his hand and then a bunch down from the ceiling. Honestly, just react to his attacks and it's slight. Number 17. Galien. Galien is, in my opinion, the second hardest dream boss. He starts with a small little Beyblade attack. However, as the fight goes on, what makes it pretty tough is that once you damage him, he will begin to spawn more Beyblades like he's trying to find what the fuck metal fusion is. If you get that reference, you're the GOAT. But on top of that being pretty tanky, this makes him a little bit of a challenge. Number 16. Xero. Taking the crown for the hardest dream boss in Hollow Knight, Xero is just so fucking annoying. His spears aren't too hard to dodge, but once he gets to his second phase, the spears double and he just gets absolutely bananas. Honestly, I just can't fucking hit this guy. Like, bro, get the fuck down from there, Jesus Christ! Number 15. Nosk. Nosk definitely has some pretty deep lore that I don't entirely understand, but all I know is that when I accidentally found this guy in Deepness, it definitely gave me a little bit of a shake. Anyways, honestly with Nosk, it's more just the fact that when he is doing his little crawl attack, it can sometimes be pretty hard to dodge, but otherwise, hiding in the corner unironically just kind of works. Number 14. Dung Defender. Man, I love this guy. I feel like honestly he is probably the only one that really seems to find happiness in this ruined land. Dung Defender has a variety of attacks, all of which just require the player to react. I didn't actually know this when doing this fight, but if you use Desolate Dive while he is in the ground, you can actually just pop him up, stunning him as well. Honestly, kinda like the False Knight, Dung Defender can feel a little bit harder as he is a pretty early game boss, but once you give it a few tries, it's pretty easy. Number 13. Mantis Lords. Another pretty early game boss, but man is this one a fun one. Just like Hornet, the Mantis Lords have that same effect of being pretty easy, but also feeling satisfying to conquer. Honestly, there really isn't much to say besides making sure you don't try and greed for a heal. Because honestly, if you just focus on reacting and punishing, you'll play a whole lot better. Number 12. God Tamer. Man, I don't think I've ever locked in so hard for one boss. I mean, just to get to him, you have to beat the third trial in the Colosseum of Fools, which is just hell on earth. Honestly, I think the thought of me having to do it all over again pushes me to play the best I can. Honestly, the trick with God Tamer is to actually not go for the Tamer itself, but the God. And after a series of pogos, you're all good. Number 11. Soul Master. Okay, I know you're probably thinking, what the fuck is this take? But hear me out. In the context of the place he has fought in the game, Soul Master can actually be pretty hard. You don't have access to a lot of really powerful charms that murder this guy later in the game. But at the time, you really only have a toothpick that just picks at this giant fucking infected Alakazam. With all his spell attacks and high speed dodges, taking out Soul Master can be pretty hard. It's more a test of patience, to be honest. A test which I failed many times. And with this, we move to the top 10. Number 10. Watcher Knights. Kicking off the top 10, we have the Watcher Knights. The Watcher Knights are like roly-poly looking things. They slash, they dash, and overall can just be a pain in the ass. especially when you have two of them coming at you when they create bullshit fucking scenarios where you literally can't dodge them. It's annoying as hell, but overall, it's manageable. Number 9, Oro and Mato. These guys are so fucking awesome. Not only is the fight just a joy, they also have really cool lore. Oro and Mato are fought after beating the first Pantheon of Masters. What's really cool about these guys is that in-game you learn different nail arts from them, which I've honestly never even knew existed and didn't get any of them. Anyways, this is just an awesome fight. Amazing design and excellent lore, and a joy to fight. If I was making a list of my overall top 5 favorite bosses, they would be on there. Easy. Number 8, Paintmaster Sheo. Man, you know what can make an amazing boss like Oro and Mato even better? Well, color. That's what. Sheo again is another boss that easily makes my top 5 for favorite bosses in this game. Sheo has 4 different attacks, all of which symbolized by a different color on his paintbrush. His first one, he will dive down, shooting out red paint, which can be pretty tough to dodge if you're not positioned right. Then you have his blue paint attack, where he comes up all in your face and smacks you with his brush. Then you have his yellow paint attack, where he literally turns into Inteleon from Pokemon and tries to snipe you with his legendary bolt action from 2018 Fortnite. Finally, his purple paint attack, where he slashes you and paint begins to fall from the sky. It's pretty easy to get around these attacks and overall does live up to the second Pantheon final boss. Number 7, Sentinel Hornet. Man, if I thought I was gonna get a lot of comments about Soulmaster, I know I'm gonna get a lot about this one. Just for the record, I know in the back of my mind that this boss probably doesn't deserve to be this high. However, let me set the stage. A brand new player who has only beaten 4 or 5 bosses looks on YouTube on how to power up, and his curiosity leads him to wanting to get the King's brand by beating Hornet again. I know I definitely challenged this fight probably a little too early, but I cannot deny that this boss took me so long to beat. Like, I'm talking like 2 hours straight of just Hornet, which is funny because it's literally pretty much the same as the original, besides being fast as fuck, having counters, traps, which, by the way, I'm definitely an idiot for this, but I didn't know you could actually break these things. I know that this fight doesn't deserve to be this high, but for the time and struggle I had with this boss, I really can't put her any lower. Number 6, Radiance. Well, so remember how I said Hollow Knight received the award for being the lowest ranked final boss? Well, that's now being taken away, as Radiance is actually the true final boss and ties with the devil in the Cuphead ranking. Anyways, Radiance can feel really nuts at first. He's got nails and nails and nails and more nails, with so many lights attacks that you might think he has one AirPod in and he's just listening to Flashing Lights by Kanye. Anyways, this definitely feels like a solid final boss and leaves him at 6th. Number 5, Grimm. Grimm probably has the best boss soundtrack I've ever heard in any video game. Grimm is just a menace, but also has a really fun fight. Grimm is kind of like a super buff version of the original Hornet fight. He has all of these attacks that at first seem impossible to dodge, but once you die and die and die, eventually you'll catch on and you'll figure him out without too much difficulty. I'm just playing. It's pretty hard. But once you do, it becomes one of those fights you really don't lose to again, even when you have to rematch him. Number 4, Great Nailsage Sly. Well, who would have thought that the man who sold you so much shit throughout the game would actually turn out to secretly be a master of nail arts, who taught Oro, Mato, and Sheo. This fight is awesome, as Sly uses every single one of the nail arts. The really tough thing about this fight is that honestly, it's just fucking bullshit. He's so fucking small, like, the window to hit this guy is already small. But then you make it even harder by making him have a giant fucking nail and the body the same size as my dick! Sorry, anyways. After you take out his first phase, he goes to the second one, where he just jumps around the screen, spinning like a Beyblade, going 90 fucking miles per hour. Overall, Sly is just annoying, but it's really cool to see a guy like Sly come back as one of the endgame bosses, leaving him at 4th. Number 3, Zote the Mighty.
I just gotta say a few things. Who the fuck thought it was a good idea to give the objectively, in quotation marks, easiest boss a Super Saiyan buff form that wreaks havoc on my hours of touching grass? Fuck Zote the Mighty. Out of any boss on this list, he is by far, without a question, the most bullshit boss in this fucking game. In fact, he might even be the most bullshit boss of any video game ever. I'm dead fucking serious. This guy can suck my fat fucking dick. What sucks is that he's not even cool. Zote literally just runs around, falling down and creating these Japanese tsunami shockwaves. And he spawns minions of himself that do damage and explode. Which, by the way, don't leave until you respond to them. Oh, and did I mention, he does double damage. Because of course he had to do double damage. Zote isn't cool or funny. He's just a bitch. And I swear, if I get hit by another one of his slams where he literally reacts to your movements, I'm going to fucking lose it. Fuck Zote. I should have let your ass die in the crossroads. Then I wouldn't have to fight you in the Pantheons or even rank your sorry ass. But Jesus Christ, I'll never look at this motherfucker the same. And if I do have to fight him again, I'm gonna end it all. Number 2, Nightmare King Grimm. So, I don't know if y'all watched the Cuphead ranking, but in that video, I talk about a boss named Grimm Matchstick, who, to say the least, took some years off my life. So when I fought the original form of Grimm, I thought, okay, this is probably gonna be pretty hard. But you know what? It all turned out fine. Until this motherfucker. You have no idea how many hours this took me. Remember how I said I liked Grimm's boss music? Well, now I never stop hearing it, because when I try to fall asleep at night, all I hear is... Nightmare King Grimm is just a buffed up form of Grimm. And if Grimm was already this high, you knew his buffed up form would be pretty high. And was actually the number 1 on this list for a while, until... Number 1. Pure Vessel. Wow. Can I just say, this is an amazing boss. If I had to do that weird thing where I had to describe bosses in memes like those weird ass TikToks, you'd be seeing this.
But I'm just so darn cold.
Too bad there's no answer for that problem.
But now there is. Hi, I'm Peter Grimm, creator of the Kngiht. If you're anything like me, the number 1 problem in your life is that you can't...
And it really is. The arena, the music that just gives you chills, the boss itself, it's an incredible fight, and without a question, my favorite boss fight in the whole game, hands down. That being said, I'm now seeing therapy for how long this took me. You want me to be honest? The reason I didn't rank any of the buffed up dream forms of any of the other bosses is because I lost so many times to this guy in the Pantheon that I literally have the timing down for like all of the enraged forms. And now it pretty much just feels like me speed running my way to the Pure Vessel. Just for me to die in 4 hits because, oh yeah, he does double damage, of course. Honestly, my relationship with the Pure Vessel is one of love and hate. But I think I can really only say with this guy that he is my favorite boss I've probably ever fought in any video game. And with this, also making him the number 1 boss in Hollow Knight. What the fuck just happened? Oh, crap. Number X. Absolute Radiance. Admit it, y'all Hollow Knight fans instantly went to the comments to comment that, oh, I didn't rank the Absolute Radiance, and because I didn't rank him, it's a scale issue. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? I did, and it has changed me. The Absolute Radiance is fought after completing the Pantheon of Hollow Nest. A Pantheon that requires you to fight every single boss in Hollow Knight. And I mean every single one. You have to go through titans like Zote the Mighty, Sly, Nightmare King Grimm, and even the Pure Vessel. And all of them lead up to Absolute Radiance. A boss rush that takes nearly an hour and a half to get through. And I'm not making that up. An hour and a half. You go through all of them, test your limits at every single boss, as all of them get a brand new arena, which makes the boss a lot harder. Especially Markoth. If you wonder why this guy gets so much hate, it's because of this guy's arena. This is why there's nothing that really needs to be said. I don't think anyone that has ever ranked Hollow Knight bosses has not put the Absolute Radiance as their number 1 hardest boss. Because you really can't. Remember at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I had put 120 hours in this game. Well, that was before the absolute Radiance. And yes, I'm not fucking kidding. My hours have gone all the way up to 145. 25 fucking hours of absolute Radiance. You want to know why this video took so long to finish? It's because of one stupid fucking moth. And who better to do it than the moth that caused, well, all of this. And this officially puts him at the top of the ranking, in my opinion, which of course is right, in Hollow Knight.
Yes, 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 yes. Beat his ass, beat his ass, beat his ass. You're done, man. Oh my god. Yes, yes. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. Oh, keep beating him up. Keep beating him up. You're so fucking done. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. Oh my god. Oh my god, yes. Oh my god.
And that's it. Jesus Christ, this video took a long time. And for all the people that just wanted to skip to the end to see how bad my opinions are, here's the final list. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe if you at least kinda liked it. And let me know how fucked my opinions are, because something tells me I'm gonna be getting a lot of
One more time, Linus, and we'll have to change your name to Minus.